everyone, Alexa Donne here, and welcome to part 2 of how to start a Booktube/Authortube channel. If you missed part 1, I'm going to link that down below. Part 1 is all about kind of deciding to start your channel and kind of how to approach it, the equipment that you need, kind of all the getting started stuff. This is all about engagement and growth. So how do you both create engaging content, engage with the community on YouTube, and then grow your YouTube channel? It's definitely easier said than done. I'll admit, starting a YouTube channel from scratch nowadays is definitely tricky. There's been insane growth on YouTube, and the creators who are really popular are really popular. They're recommended the most in the YouTube algorithm, and I'll talk about the YouTube algorithm and kind of the kind of content and creators that it favors. Some of the strategic steps that you might want to take as you are building and growing your YouTube channel. Overall, I recommend if you're thinking about starting a Booktube or an Authortube that you take the plunge and join us. There is a lot of room in the community for new creators and new voices, and even if it seems daunting to grow, keep your, give it a try and keep your expectations realistic. It honestly is probably gonna take quite a lot of time to hit, say, 1,000 subscribers, let alone 250,000. But if you create content that you really enjoy making and you engage with the community that you are able to build, it is all worth it. And the magical, frustrating thing is that at a certain point, YouTube will decide that you're cool and they will decide to promote your videos, and then you'll grow crazy fast and you'll wonder, why was it so hard in the beginning? So let's take it back to basics and the beginning. So first off, I'm going to talk about your schedule. This is how often you're posting to your actual channel as well as your filming schedule. So I recommend keeping a regular schedule for your channel. YouTube rewards consistency. I mean, so do viewers. Essentially, if you are posting on a regular basis and viewers know that you're going to post new videos, say once a week on Fridays, they will come to your channel looking for that new content once a week on Fridays. Or if you post Monday, Wednesday, Friday at a certain time, they're going to get to know you as a very consistent provider of engaging and interesting content. That's how you get subscribers. You have to essentially offer value in your channel brand, and YouTube also rewards people who post more frequently. There is a line. You don't want to post too much, especially starting out, and blow all of your content, but you also don't want to post too little or infrequently. There is nothing worse than a channel that starts out strong and then goes fallow and they don't post for a long time, because then viewers are going to assume this is a dead or abandoned channel and they're less likely to binge your videos and subscribe. So my personal recommendation to you starting out is at least once a week. Pick a day. I find that the weekdays do work the best, Monday through Friday, but Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays are pretty popular days on YouTube for people to post new videos. But if you can, my best practices recommendation is to post 2 to 3 times a week consistently and religiously, because if you do this long enough without stopping, the YouTube algorithm will reward you, which I will come back to again in a minute. Part of the reason for this is, as I mentioned, people are looking for consistency in your channel. They are looking for a channel, someone who they like and they can follow and that they can expect good content from on a regular basis. And very often when someone finds one of your videos, they're going to go to your channel, they're going to click on the videos tab, and they're going to see what else you've posted, including how frequently you've posted it, and they're going to look to binge your content. If you lock someone into a really satisfying binge, they are way more likely to subscribe to you and then of course watch your videos going forward. Of course, you're not going to be able to achieve this right away, and that's why I caution you not to be too impatient. Don't, post 20 videos in your first 2 weeks on YouTube, because that is almost too much. You're throwing too much at people. But after, say, 2 or 3 months of consistent posting, you should have a really nice backlog of videos, and you're going to start to reap the benefits of that. Trust me, you will notice kind of the moment when it turns from where you feel like you're thirsty for viewers and you're like, please love me, to when they start organically finding you. And it's really nice, and I honestly really believe in the consistency of videos and having consistent content, which is why I do a two to three times a week posting schedule. Sometimes I'm religious about 3 times a week. It really depends kind of on my backlog of videos, which I'm going to talk about in a moment, but I do at least 2 times a week, always. So about having a backlog of videos. So this is about your filming schedule. So I recommend finding a time when you have 2 to 3 like solid hours, honestly more like 4 to 5 or 6 if you can. I mentioned this in the setup video. Typically it's best if you film during the day because you're going to have the best lighting setup. Like I said, I combine natural light with a lighting kit. And also just generally many of us humans, who have jobs or other commitments, because that could be school as well, weekends tend to be a time when we have time. So I film on weekends. I get up, I drink my coffee, I put on my face. You don't have to do a full face, but I discovered that I looked very pale on camera if I didn't do something with it. So I taught myself how to wear makeup and I actually really enjoy it now. And then I film a minimum of 2 videos on a day. If I put on my face, I'm filming more than 1 video. But honestly, some days I can knock out 3, 4, even 5 videos. I kind of do like little variations on my hair and my makeup and I change my outfit, but I film a lot of videos at a time and then I kind of edit them after that. But that way I have, let's say I know that I'm going to be busy the next weekend. Well, I have 6 videos in the can, so I have enough to post on and keep to my posting schedule. So I always try to stay ahead of myself because I film in bulk. I always have at least 3 videos kind of on reserve just in case life happens and I fall a bit behind. So film in batches, it's gonna make it easier for you. Now let's talk a bit about length of videos. So this is all a part of video engagement, viewer engagement. So the pesky YouTube algorithm, I keep teasing it and I'll talk about it more in depth when we talk about engagement, but YouTube rewards certain types of videos and types of channels that encourage viewer engagement. YouTube wants to keep people on YouTube as long as possible, enjoying excellent quality content from their creators, largely in the service of advertisements. But the point is, the conventional wisdom used to be that shorter was better. Shorter YouTube videos were better because people had a short attention span. But as people have gotten accustomed to viewing and consuming content on YouTube, some people only consume content on YouTube, the kind of the standard of how long videos will be and how long people will stay engaged has really started to stretch. You see this especially, I've noticed, in the BeautyTube community, where I will watch a 30-minute video, a 45-minute video, like a chit chat, get ready with me, and I'm done and I'm like, whoa, where did the time go? If a content creator is really engaging as a personality and their subject matter is interesting, especially if people come to the videos to learn something, they will stay engaged. This is why some of my videos are really, really long, like this one. I do try to keep a lot of them in the sweet spot, however, and the current conventional wisdom that I have heard is that the sweet spot is 8 to 12 minutes. So when you're kind of designing your topics, and I'm going to talk about that, and you're filming, you want to kind of stick to that. Let's say you're aiming for 8 to 12 minutes. You could probably shoot up to 15 and trim it down. If you want your video to be like 20 minutes, you can shoot like 20 to 25 minutes and so on. But you definitely want to think about kind of the sweet spot. And I do recommend skewing shorter in the beginning because you do kind of have to earn that viewer engagement and loyalty. I wasn't posting 30-minute videos in my first month on YouTube, and I still, when I do general interest topics and especially lists, I do try to keep them under 14 minutes. I'm very long-winded, as you can tell right now, but that's just kind of my tip on time and how you kind of want to plan your topics. You want enough time to be slightly in-depth and to really engage the viewer, but not so long that they get frustrated or bored and click away. Now about topics and keywords. So I mentioned this in part 1 that I think it's really important to be engaged in the YouTube community that you are getting into. This means following top creators or smaller creators. I mean, genuinely subscribing to channels and watching content because you enjoy the content and that's why you want to create content as well. But this is so that you are aware of community norms, and topics that do well. And this is the same advice I give for you when you're writing books. If you want to write YA fantasy, you should be reading YA fantasy so you know what's hot in YA fantasy. So the same goes for, let's say, Booktube. You should be watching a bunch of different Booktube channels, the big ones, of course, but also smaller ones, up and coming ones. Figure out what kind of content is engaging you. And you can also look at people's videos and you can sort them by most popular, see what has the highest viewing counts. Where are video creators getting their engagement? What kind of videos do people like? And then from there, you can plan your topics list. I'll give you some clues. How-tos do very, very, very well on YouTube, I think, because it is definitely a place that people go to learn. I mean, I taught myself makeup by looking for how-tos and tutorials and all that jazz. You know, that's why so much of my channel on the Authortube side it's all how-tos. It's advice videos. People look for how-tos. People look for lists. People love lists. Listicles also do really, really well on places like BuzzFeed. How do you think BuzzFeed became BuzzFeed? Like, you know, 7 reasons we love, I don't know, the Vampire Diaries, whatever. People love lists. And so you can also do that on YouTube, and those do very well on YouTube. If you think about your own viewing habits, think about the clickbait that gets you. I like to click on lists. I like to click on 10 best, 10 worst, you know, 8 favorite, you know, 7 things not to do, like all those sorts of things. So there's always value in coming up with a unifying topic and coming up with, you know, a number. Sweet spot tends to be 5 or 7 or 10, 12. Like, you don't want to get too high in listicle land, but just like pick a topic, come up with a bunch of different things, and then power through them in your video. People love those sorts of videos. Also, I kind of hinted at it, like top 10, top worst. Here's the reality. If it bleeds, it leads, kind of. Meaning you've probably noticed this. You've probably noticed this in your own viewing habits, and it can also be really frustrating. Negative tends to do very well. Negative leaning things are very clickbaity. Now you're gonna have to make a decision for yourself. Are you gonna wade into that kind of content? So if you are, say, starting a booktube, are you going to be critical on your booktube channel? And there are different schools of thought with this. Some people go all positive only, you know, especially a lot of the bigger ones, and in fairness, part of that is relationships with publishers, etc. And I'll tell you that as an author, I have a positivity policy. If you ever do see me do kind of negging on books, it's because they're in a genre where I feel safe. Like, I could probably neg a celebrity memoir and no one would come for me. Or I could neg some hot, big title, an adult, where no one's gonna hunt me down and kill me. But generally speaking, as an active author in the community who is being published, I'm not gonna be posting negative videos about YA books, because that's just tacky. But I actually really enjoy watching booktube channels that critically engage with literature. So criticism doesn't always have to be negative, I should clarify that. But if you look at titles and like what people click on, very often, like, you know, the 10 most disappointing books of the year, there's a booktuber who does that, and they're really good videos. They're actually just really critically engaging. So think about like kind of that kind of stuff. So once you have kind of what's hot and what makes people click, and, you know, things that are big in your community. So with Booktube, it would be TBRs and book hauls and reviews. You know, tags. You can look for tags that circulate in the community. Tags are a great way to get discoverable by new people, because when they watch a video with one tag, YouTube might suggest your video to them when they are done. In Authortube, it might be, you know, talking about your whip or doing craft videos. There's always going to be a type of video or types of videos that do very, very well in a specific YouTube community. So that's where you want to look for brainstorming your actual channel content. I have Google Docs where I just like spitball lots of different ideas for videos. Then when I have one that I feel like it's the right time to do it, or I have a lot to say, I create an outline. So I'm gonna flash you my outline for this video. So I basically, like, I do the titles and then I break them into major sections. This is partly to keep me on topic because I ramble like nobody's business, but in order to keep it organic and not canned, because when I did stick too closely to my outline, I was a little dead in the eyes and I didn't make as much eye contact with the camera, and I had to edit a lot because I was umming and pausing a lot. So I basically used the outline, and actually the act of writing the outline kind of like gets the topic into my bloodstream so that I can then sit in front of the camera. I do reference this to make sure that I'm like not missing anything, but I try to talk freely about the topic loosely based on the outline. So that is my advice for doing that. Now, once you have these topics and you film them and you edit them, you're gonna have to think about titling. So I use the word clickbait a lot. I actually caution you not to be too clickbaity because no one likes false advertising, which is kind of what clickbait is. So you're gonna wanna come up with a snappy title for your video. Use some of the keywords I mentioned, like how to, or you know, advice for, my story, X reasons, X most, X worst, least, etc. The X's being numbers. You want to put those in your title. As I mentioned in the first video, thumbnails. So watch the first video for advice on thumbnails. Your thumbnail text doesn't have to match your title, but they should complement each other. Sometimes they're the same, sometimes they're different. And then you want to use similar phrasing in the description box for your video that you put in your title. And then you also want to use the same phrasing in your keywords. So when you upload a video, there's a description box that you fill in, and there is a keyword section. And you want to do both general and specific keywords. If your keywords are too general, you're gonna get lost in a sea of a million videos. So like just the keyword books isn't necessarily gonna help you too much, but Booktube is slightly more specific. And then if, let's say your video is about best reads of 2017, that's a keyword, best reads of 2017. You wanna think about what people might be searching for that would lead them to find your video, and then you're gonna put those into the keywords box. And again, you also want to have buzzy phrases in the description box itself. You should always write a description for your videos because the YouTube search algorithm pulls from the title field, it pulls from the description field, and it looks at your keywords, and it looks for synchronicity, you know, among those three things to make you more discoverable through the algorithm. And just a quick note about the description box. If you go into your YouTube settings, you can have it automatically populate with default information every time you upload a video. So that way you don't have to input all of your links every single time. So just, it's smart to set that up so that it's always there for you. So now let's talk a little bit about the YouTube algorithm. So how do people find videos on YouTube? How do you find videos on YouTube? Very often we go into the search bar, we know what we're looking for, and we search for it. And most people are only going to look at the first page of search results, maybe the second. And with some searches and topics, it's really hard to rank on the first or second page. But what you hope to do through your titles and your description and your keywords is to climb up in the ranks so that you are, you know, further up, higher up on those search pages. Something that I installed, it hasn't been working on the like newest version of YouTube, but I know they're working to fix it, and I'll link you down below. It's something called TubeBuddy. It's a tool, it gives you analytical tools for your YouTube channel so you can actually see where your keywords are ranking your video. It's a useful way to see if you're using keywords, you know, properly. And it used to be that you could actually see what keywords other YouTube creators were using on their videos and where their keywords ranked. And that function's been off for a little while since YouTube redesigned their interface, but I really hope it comes back because it was so useful to see, like, what is the top creator, you know, in the space, Booktube or Authortube, how do they tag their videos? Really illuminating information. So the YouTube algorithm, you know, people find it through search. The other is recommended videos. As I mentioned, if you're watching a video on one topic, YouTube's gonna recommend things in the sidebar. And I think so many of us click on those videos. You know, we're watching, but we're looking at the thumbnails that are on the side, which is again why thumbnails are very important. And again, that's why you might want to engage in tags, community tags. So I know like Booktube there's a Booktube newbie tag. There was the rip it or ship it tag. I'm repeating the ones that I've seen. Authortube has a whip tag. There's a writing rituals tag for Authortube. And YouTube will very often suggest videos that have the same, that have done the tag on the side. So that's just a good way to be discoverable. And then the other big way that people find YouTube videos is on the YouTube home screen. So if you're here and you're watching and you have a YouTube, you know this. Your YouTube home screen is a combination of videos from creators you're subscribed to, but also YouTube is kind of like, you know, psychic. this is all because Google knows everything, where they get a sense of what you're into. They also track your Google searches, by the way. Like, so if you search for one thing and then you go to YouTube, you're gonna see videos on that. I've had that happen. It's really creepy. But essentially, YouTube is curating content for people, and it is the most difficult to get into, you know, high enough, like for Google, the algorithm to love you enough to put you on those home pages. The biggest, like that is the hardest space to get into, and you really want to get there. You want, when people log in, you want YouTube to show them your videos. And this brings me to growing your YouTube channel, because how do you get noticed by the YouTube algorithm? So part of it is buzzy topics for your videos, doing good titles, appropriately keyword tagging them, and then being the consistency. So if you consistently upload quality content, YouTube starts to notice as you accumulate views, but also engagement. So there's the form of engagement that I mentioned, which was getting them to keep watching your videos. You don't just want people to click, watch for 30 seconds and click out. You want them to click and watch all 12 minutes of your video. YouTube pays attention to that. Then you want them to engage on the video itself, revealing all the secrets. The reason creators, including myself, are always saying, like, give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, or even a thumbs down. That counts as engagement, but please don't thumbs down me. And commenting, and the creator commenting back. That is good engagement. So as the likes on your video go up and you get comments and you respond to comments and there's engagement on your video, YouTube notices that essentially you are a creator who is creating content that viewers want to engage with. They also track things like shares. If people share your video, you have a little less control over that. But so you want to create content that people not only watch, but that people want to respond to and engage with you on. So there's kind of a delicate balance, but that said, you don't want to beg for likes or beg for subscribers or beg for comments. You always want to make it organic. That's why when I finish a video topic, I'm always like, well, what do you think about this? Have you had an experience that, you know, fits the topic we're talking about? Let's talk down below in the comments. And I mean it. I actually like engaging with the community here, but that's just kind of an insider, you know, tip on engaging to grow your channel. You can also curate the way that your homepage looks to viewers. This is to kind of create bingeable content. Now, after a while, YouTube will actually recommend your own videos to people in that sidebar, which will create kind of binge cycles. But in the meantime, you can curate your homepage. You create playlists and you kind of like choose which ones are on your page. You can organize the videos in a certain order. Something I've done is the top playlist on my homepage is my popular videos playlist, essentially. So that, you know, once I started accumulating views, I was like, what are the videos that people watch the most? They have a playlist. So the first thing you see on my channel in that first top bar is, what is everyone else watching on my channel? Which kind of creates a feedback loop. People are more likely to click on what apparently are my most clickbaity titles and watch the videos that have high user engagement, which will lead to hopefully a binge cycle. So that's something that I definitely did once I built up a little bit of content. But I also curated other playlists that I thought might be helpful to people. I have plans in the future, once I have filmed more videos, to create like a, you know, from draft to publish playlist that would include, you know, a mix of how to write a book, revising a book, you know, agents, submission, like the full life cycle of a book. I'll do that eventually. I don't have all the pieces for it, but think about that. I'll say you're typically not gonna, like, a lot of people don't watch YouTube playlists. They get the lowest engagement. I've noticed some of the lowest engagement. It's not necessarily about having them watch the whole playlist, but giving them something on the homepage of your channel that encourages people to find relevant content for them. So next, for cultivating engagement and growth, is actually pay attention to the videos that do well on your channel. Which videos have the most views? Which ones have the most likes? Which ones encourage a really lively discussion in the comments? Are there questions or topics or things that people have said in comments of like things they want to see? Don't be afraid to pivot and basically cultivate your content to fit what your viewership wants. I started out thinking, oh, I'm just gonna do industry videos. And I discovered I did one kind of craft type video and people really, really liked it. People had questions and I was like, okay, a lot of you guys, you awesome people, you're still in drafting stages. You're still working on first novels or revising those novels, and you want to figure out how to write great books. And I'll tell you, I like craft, meaning I like writing, but explaining craft is really hard. But I was like, you know what? People like craft content. So I taught myself how to talk about craft. I picked topics, I looked up resources, I created outlines. I was like, what is the most logical way to teach someone this craft thing? And I'm still not perfect at it, by the way. I'm not the best teacher. But I was like, if people care about craft, I'm gonna care about craft, and I'm gonna make more videos on craft on my channel. I'm now doing more Booktube videos because people wanna know what I'm reading, and I am reading a lot, you know, with my debut year. I'm reading a lot of debuts coming out, and you know, so you're gonna see a lot more bookish videos coming from me. Never be afraid to pivot, try new things, but also don't forget your core. Don't abandon your kind of core like brand and premise and the reason people subscribe to you in the first place, but make more content that people want to see. On the opposite end, stop making videos that take you a lot of time and that no one is watching. You might have noticed that I did do some like unboxings and beauty type stuff in the beginning. I still really enjoy those, and I might try it again now that I've learned how to wear makeup, but they just didn't really go anywhere because my core viewership and subscribers, y'all are here for writing and books. And that's totally cool. And the thing is, they took me time that I decided to better devote to doing more of the craft and bookish stuff. So, you know, it doesn't mean I won't come back to it, but I definitely put them on hold, also kind of like my college videos. You want to invest your time and your mental energy and the time it takes to edit things in the things that are going to move the needle and that viewers are going to respond to. And that said, don't be afraid to experiment a little. Every once in a while, try something new. If you saw something cool on someone else's channel, like you saw a tag that's maybe a little bit outside of your wheelhouse, or even like you do want to make a chit chat get ready with me beauty video, but you have a Booktube channel, you never know. So don't be afraid to experiment and try new things. Story times, there's lots of different things that you can try. I have thought about doing story time, but I don't know what stories to tell, so we'll see. So you should keep your eye on trends in the YouTube community, not just in Booktube or Authortube, but also in other spaces. You know, I mentioned Chit Chat Get Ready with Me. That is a standard in the BeautyTube community. There's also story time, which transcends specific YouTube communities. People really like story times. There's also kind of like confessional type videos or vlog type videos. Like, pay attention to what is popping. I never do anything inorganic. Like, if you're not a vlog style person, don't do a vlog. If you don't have a clickbaity story time, don't do a clickbaity story time, but don't be afraid to kind of like push yourself in new directions. Next, another great opportunity for growth is doing collaborations. Now, this is easier said than done, and I haven't really done many, but collaborations are when you team up with another creator on YouTube, either a more established creator than you or someone who's like your buddies in the same boat, and you basically either both make videos on a topic, so you make separate videos on the same topic, and you coordinate your posting and you mention each other in your videos and you link to them, or you can do a collab, especially like if you live in the same city or if you're gonna be in the same place, where you film a video together and, you know, it's posted on one person's channel. Often you'll do that if a friend has like a bigger YouTube channel than another friend. They might appear in their video so that they can like post it. It's all about kind of collaboration and mutual growth. Related to this, and also tags, which I already recommended, you could create a tag and do a collab with someone else in the community to basically launch the tag. Just an idea. And then of course there's the big one that a lot of people ask about, which is cross-promoting your YouTube on other social channels. So I do think you should do this in the sense that if you have a decent Twitter following or Instagram, or you have a newsletter if you're an author, or a book blog if you're a booktuber, like, you know, your WordPress or your Blogger, to obviously like be like, hey, I have a YouTube channel, here's my new video. But I offer that with like a caution, because you'd be amazed how reluctant people are to cross platforms. It's actually really, really challenging to convert a Twitter follower into a YouTube viewer, because a lot of people will pick their social media channels in the spaces where they're comfortable, and they're just not comfortable on that other space. And so you cross promotion isn't always going to move the needle as much as you think it will, and that can go both ways, by the way. There are YouTubers with 500,000 subscribers who can't get their Twitter followers past 20K. You know, like the two don't always follow each other. And also you always want to be wary of spamming other social channels with YouTube links, because you could end up annoying people if they are just really not gonna end up going to YouTube. They'll be like, oh, all this person does is promote their videos. So you have to be careful, because when you're on other social platforms, you always want to have content relevant to those platforms, that's curated for those platforms, and not just use those platforms to push people to your YouTube channel. So just something to bear in mind. And so none of these things are magic. These are all just things that you can do, and I advise you do, and that you try them and that you don't give up. Because the biggest thing to growing your YouTube channel is just consistently making content, not giving up, being yourself, and being grateful for every view, being grateful for every subscriber, and just doing the best that you can. Because honestly, growing on YouTube is hard. The YouTube algorithm is a fickle bitch, honestly. I don't understand it half the time. Like, the videos of mine that they're clearly promoting are some of the most surprising to me, and some of the videos I posted that I thought would like really do well have just done okay. Like, you can never predict it, and you should also not take it personally if the videos that you make don't blow up. Just like, do your due diligence, make choices, make good choices, everyone. Because I just do want to cycle back that doing clickbait or doing negative reviews can blow up your channel really, really fast, but then you are a channel who does negative stuff, and that is now part of who you are. So you should always make that choice consciously. Because just FYI, like, you are either like a Booktube channel that is like fully critical and critically engaged, or you're a YouTube channel that's about positivity and hype. It's really hard to straddle both lines. Just FYI that an early stunt to try to like create a viral video, which you can't really usually consciously do, can backfire on you. That's just kind of a note there, because I know a lot of people think that's one way to do it. But consistency, not giving up, being yourself, and engaging with the community are just the top ways to do it. YouTubers are really great about supporting other YouTubers, and so if you are fully engaged and you're creating good content, eventually, slowly but surely, you will grow. So this one, definitely drop comments down below, not just because I want engagement, but because engagement and growth, it's not science, it's an art. It's like weird magic, and it's hard to tell you what to do, because YouTube is still, I'm still learning YouTube, and YouTube is constantly changing their rules and the requirements and the bar that you have to meet to be monetized. And I didn't really talk about monetization, but this video is really long, so we can talk about monetizing YouTube videos and being a YouTube partner in another video. But drop questions down below about starting your YouTube channel, about content, about growth, about engagement. I'd be happy to share any of the wisdom that I have accumulated through my weird YouTube journey. And I'm still really new and I'm still growing, but you know, I hit the 1,000 subscriber count threshold a few weeks ago, and you know, I'm pretty jazzed. So drop those questions down below. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it, guys. Give it a thumbs up. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. I post videos 2 to 3 times a week. I talk about YA, the industry, writing, books, traditional publishing, starting YouTube videos. I really like giving advice. Thank you, as always, everyone, for watching. And as always, happy writing, happy reading, and happy YouTubing.